From the bowling alley in Daniel Plainview's mansion, it's the IGN Digigods. Please welcome two men who were fired by Ryan Bingham, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
You know, that just got me thinking, not because of anything that that repeat intro has to do with anything, but have you seen the Patton Oswalt bit from Parks and Recreation? Have you seen that?
Yes, I have.
Is that not the funniest thing you've ever seen? Now I'm going to watch the episode. It's just a raw take.
It was funny for like 4 minutes, and I'm like, okay. I mean, does it build? Does it get better?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it just like the same thing for 8 minutes?
Well, it's kind of the same thing for 8 minutes, but it's a raw take. I mean, in the show, you're going to be getting reaction shots of Amy Poehler and so forth and so on. So I mean, it'll in the audience, they'll kind of create more of a build with the editing. But honestly, as just kind of a semi ad-libbed spiel, that's pretty great stuff.
Did you go on entertainmentweekly.com? Because Entertainment Weekly created a one sheet.
Oh, did they?
For a imaginary movie featuring all the characters that he brought up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
For
those who don't know, we should let everybody know. Parks and Recreation plugged next week's episode by putting up the entire one take, the raw one take that Patton Oswalt did for the forthcoming episode, which is, I guess the idea is that the city's going to rule on something, and he's guest starring as a citizen who stages a citizen filibuster to keep talking so that they can't vote. And the producers told him, basically, we don't even want to know what you're going to talk about. Just like, do your thing. Just come ready to do some kind of a spiel and ad-lib. And, of course, Patton doesn't ad-lib. He prepares as he would for a comedy routine. But if you go online, just Google Patton Oswalt, Parks and Recreation, ad-lib, you'll come up with it. It really is pretty priceless. It's kind of a sequel to his I would kill George Lucas with a shovel.
Now,
it kind of is.
On the what's it called? On the Facebook page, I tried to remember the story about what he did at our LAFCA Awards when he was there for Ratatouille. Remember that?
Well, what I remember
was like a power outage or something.
No, there was a PA problem. There were issues with getting, well, not even the PA, but there were issues with getting the audiovisual all hooked up, and they couldn't get lens montage and the video screens going properly, right? So Lael was president at the time, and Lael just went over to his table and just said, "Here, you're good with a microphone, vamp."
Oh, really? So he didn't just pick up the mic and just go.
No.
He was asked to by Lael.
Yeah, Lael basically went and asked him to vamp, and
he was hilarious.
He was great. He's got a tremendous skill. That guy, he really does. Funny man, funniest man in America, in the world. I would say he's the funniest man in the world. He makes me laugh more than anyone else.
Okay, so last night.
Yes, last night.
I got my plans were canceled and moved.
Yes,
I understand. So I decided I got lazy and decided to stay in.
Okay.
And
you watched
on Netflix for some reason. I was in a stand-up comedy mood.
Okay.
And I watched, skimmed through, watched a stand-up comedy special from Jim Gaffigan.
Oh, all right.
Funny. Somehow I don't want to see him. He's just really weird looking with like big George Lucas-y jowls or something, and I just don't want to see him.
Did any part? Let me ask. Did he do during the course of the routine? Did he talk about food?
He talked about he did a whole run on Subway.
Yeah, on food. Okay, it did. And at any point during the routine, or at how many points during the routine did he do the little phantom ghost person reaction? Why is he doing that?
He does
What's
it all
he
the
talking
time.
about?
That's his thing.
I know.
In fact, he even started one of his. I remember I was listening to one of his shows on my iPhone, and he even started the special with, "I wonder when he's going to go into that phony little voice. You think he'll do it now?" So he gets it. He gets it. And the other was a moderately old act from Louis C.K.
Who is just really suddenly the hottest thing alive.
I know.
It's amazing. That
show.
That guy's been around for over 20 years. And it's like now is his time.
Well, it's the show. FX gave him a show.
I know.
And you know who edits that show, by the way? Susan Morris, who edits all the Woody Allen films.
That's right.
Which is pretty unusual.
We've talked about that.
He just reached out to her and said, "Hey, do you mind editing my show? You don't know me, I don't know you, but I like you. Can you edit my show?" She's like, "Okay."
Smart.
Yeah,
totally smart. All right, well, we're going to get into some DVDs and Blu-rays. This is a great week, Mark. This is a really great week.
Well, then I'm glad we wasted 10 minutes talking about stand-up comedy, Wade.
Well, wasted about 5 minutes talking about stand-up comedy. You know, a lot of really, a lot of good television, a lot of interesting television, a lot of bad television. We'll go through the television as quickly as possible. First off, just want to mention something that Mark's going to rip on me for. This is an Australian television movie. Oh, it's an Australian television movie. Why is he talking about Australian television?
Okay, Jim Gaffigan.
It's The Mystery of a Handsome Cab, which stars John Waters. Isn't that amazing? John Waters from Pig Floyd. Oh, no, maybe not. Different John Waters. No, this is actually really cool. This is a Victorian murder mystery. A couple of guys get into a carriage, and one of them winds up dead after the other guy gets out. Turns into a really, really interesting little whodunit. An actress by the name of Jessica DeGao plays the not the wife, but the fiancée of the guy who's murdered, who decides to kind of take matters into her own hand. It's really cool. It's very interesting, very nicely done, sharply written, and I've never seen any of these actors anywhere, so I'm just like, you know what, these people deserve to be in movies. Jessica DeGao, Oliver Ackland, and John Waters. Good people. And then Family Ties, 6th season is out. You know what? I used to watch this show all the time, and there are no extras on here.
Never watched this show.
I watched this show all the time, loved it at the time, really, really enjoyed it. Looking at it now, I'm like, oh my gosh, the jokes are all the same. So it doesn't, it kind of doesn't date well, but it is nice to see Michael J. Fox in his prime, you know, when he was healthy and when his comic timing was just absolutely impeccable. I mean, it's still a fun show to watch, but, you know, it doesn't, I don't know, it still feels of the 80s, you know, his whole kind of Reagan-esque conservative son. It just seems very rooted in a zeitgeist that's long since gone. So,
well, now we're just all way too cynical and sarcastic and bitter and angry to really accept a show that seems as genuine as Family Ties.
True. But Michael Gross.
Which is why I didn't like it.
But Michael Gross, you know, lovely guy. I interviewed him back in the day. Really lovely man, great actor. Thoroughly enjoy him. And by the way, you know, he is Mary Gross's brother. You know that.
Mary Gross from Saturday Night Live.
Correct.
Back in the day.
Yes, who played Alfalfa on the whole buckwheat who shot buckwheat sequence. Yep.
The things you remember.
Yep. See her at the market all the time.
God, you see the weirdest people at the market.
I know.
Who was that one person you saw at the market? It was like you were so thrilled. Was it like a French comedian or something?
Oh, Danny Boone. I'm sorry. And then like 4 months later, the American Cinematheque was like, we don't know if you like Danny Boone, but we're going to be screening Bienvenue chez les Ch'tis and his new film Nothing to Declare, and wondered if you'd Q&A. I was like, you know what? He's going to freak out because the guy who accosted the mad fan who accosted him on Christmas Eve at the grocery store is now going to be doing a Q&A. He's going to think I'm stalking him. It was great. It was really fun. And I told that story to start the Q&A.
Yeah, great. Who's Danny Boone? Anyway, Route 66 is a classic old series that you have never heard of, but maybe your parents have. It right now we have the 4th season of the show, which is on DVD. It's a 5-disc set. This show is a little before my time. I did watch a couple of them over the years. What's interesting about the show is actually not much, but what's interesting about the show is that it's kind of like it's half episodes and half kind of anthology. Like it revolves around 3 main characters, only 1 or 2 of which actually show up from week to week. Sometimes it'll be the Martin Milner character. Martin Milner, of course, wound up going on to do 1 Adam 12.
Yes.
Adam 12, whatever it's called. Or maybe it's the other guy, Todd Stiles, or George Maharis. And so you had these recurring characters. 3 of them, some came back week to week, some didn't come back week to week. Sometimes the storylines bridged episodes, sometimes they didn't.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting in that sense. But it premiered in 1960 and it went till about 1964, and it was a big deal at the time. Route 66, as Wade knows. Wade, you love Route 66.
It's a cool show.
Well, Route 66 is it's also called the Will Rogers Highway. It's like one of the original highways in the U.S. highway system.
Yeah, if you've seen Cars, you know the whole
That's right.
mythic history of Route 66 and why it was important and blah, 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 blah.
And, of course, at the time, it was almost TV's version of, On the Road or some, Kerouacian,
Yes.
Find Yourself Drive across the USA for young kids. It was kind of the TV version of that. Anyway, a little before my time, and I'm going to guess your time, but your parents might dig Route 66.
Totally. Got a couple of couple of heavy shows here. One is the complete series of The Mob Doctor. Now, that comes in a surprise.
Lame. Lame. Give me this. This show sucks. You know why? I never even watched the show. The reason why I didn't like this show was the poster, like the billboard art for this show, showed the woman who is forced to be a doctor for the mob.
Yes.
And of course, her name. And in any movie that names a female character Grace, should automatically be shot.
Okay.
Because whenever you name a female character Grace, it's all symbolic. Oh, Grace, she's the positive ray of sunshine in an evil world. We'll call her Grace. I hate that. And then in the billboard art, she's got her hands together.
Yes.
Right?
Like
and her hands are bloody.
Yes.
You know, but she has the doctor gloves on, and the doctor gloves are bloody.
Yes.
So the doctor gloves are bloody. She has blood on her hands.
Yeah.
Blood on her hands. It's symbolic. And then right over her shoulder is what's his name? William Forsythe,
Yes.
whatever his name is.
Yes, William Foreskin.
William Foreskin, and it's just you know what, this is just
who has never been as good as he was with John Goodman in Raising Arizona. But I digress.
This thing is just a big fat dud.
Yeah, well, the show didn't last. That's why it's the whole series is on 3 discs. But you know, the one thing I do like
It'd be
about
like The Sopranos, but it's a woman, so women will watch it too.
Well, that's what they were shooting for. They were shooting for a Sopranos kind of a thing, like Nurse Jackie meets The Sopranos. But that's not what they got. I mean, look, it's a little bit of a crime show, a little bit of a medical show. I get why the pitch worked, but you know, Forsythe is good, and he's always good. He plays gangsters a little bit too much nowadays, but that's all right. The other show that is kind of a heavy hitting as well is Boss with Kelsey Grammer. This is season 2. And that's the last season because it just got canned. They're not bringing it back. And it's too bad because it's really an interesting show and had real promise. I think if we didn't live in such a it's got to be a hit now mentality, if things were allowed to sort of build an audience, I think Boss could have lasted. Kelsey Grammer, terrific actor. He really is. And it's so funny after all these decades of him just being a comedy icon to see him really kind of bring the heavy in, you know, what is basically all about, you know, crooked Chicago politics. And by the way, you know, Mob Doctor is Chicago as well. This is all Chi-town. This is all Windy City stuff. Yeah, you know, we know, you know, Chicago's reputation for being the center of crooked American politics and the Chicago machine and all that stuff. And this just tries to give it a big dramatic head of steam. And it's great. I think it's a good show. Too bad it's gone now.
So says you. However, here's a show that needs to be gone. Father Dowling Mysteries. More bad TV for you, folks.
Mark, it got canceled decades ago.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Anyway, Father Dowling Mysteries is actually the thing only ran for a couple seasons. I thought it ran longer than that.
It was like they did specials first and then turned it into a brief series, and you know.
Well, the whole idea is that Tom Bosley, who of course played the father in Happy Days, Tom Bosley is
yeah, along with Tracy.
Tracy
Nelson. Yeah, whose brothers are Ricky Nelson's her dad, right? Tracy Nelson,
right.
and the brothers, the long blonde-haired Nelson guys.
Shecky Nelson.
Remember the twins? You know,
yes.
those are her
brothers.
Yes, I
do.
Yeah.
That's great story.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's a father, and he solves murders and kidnappings and whatnot. And it's one of those. This show is so CBS.
Yeah, no, it's true, isn't it?
But the thing is that it was on NBC. But it's very CBS.
Very
it's like
CBS.
Old people solving crimes that old people feel like they have a purpose in life.
Yep. All that old people solving crimes. That was from Barnaby
Matlock.
Jones, Matlock.
Oh, Barnaby Jones is awesome. I used to love the theme song.
Murder, She Wrote. It was old people solving crimes. That was the CBS mantra. I think that, in fact, was the network motto for a long time, wasn't it? CBS,
yes.
Old people solving crimes.
By the way, the Barnaby Jones theme song, which is awesome, written by, ladies and gentlemen,
Jerry Goldsmith.
Oh, damn, you knew that. How'd you know that? I think I probably told you that at some point.
Because I watched the show. It came on right after Hawaii Five-0 when I was a kid. You don't understand. That was the deal. Hawaii Five-0 at 9 o'clock. Like, Mom, can't I just stay up and watch Hawaii Five-0, please? That show's really, really risque. No, it's okay tonight.
Risque,
there's no women in bikinis. It's just about heroin addicts and hookers tonight. It's no bikini clad women. Well, all right, if it's just a heroin addict and an extortion plot involving prostitution, that's okay. So then I'd get to watch it, and then of course they'd forget that I was watching TV at 9, and then 10 o'clock would come on, and then be
awesome song.
Oh yeah.
All right, keep talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, do I keep talking, or do you keep talking?
No, okay.
Who keeps talking?
I'll go next. recently, the History Channel.
It's the worst.
You know,
that devil was so Barack Obama. Seriously, here, give me this. Give me the thing. This is the Bible miniseries produced by Mark Burnett and his wife.
Mark's taking all my goods. Okay.
This Bible is controversial because the guy who plays the devil,
because Barack Obama played the devil,
just like Barack Obama. I mean, come on, stop that. I mean, you can hire anybody in the world to play the devil. Okay?
And they did. They hired that guy from Morocco or Brazil or wherever the hell he was.
No,
from.
but in terms of like what he looks like,
yeah,
he could be white, black, green, yellow. He could be Asian, whatever. But you know what? Mark Burnett produces many hours of television. His wife has starred in and been in many hours of television. They know that this person looks like Barack Obama. But like, you know what? I'm okay with this. Let's have this guy play the devil.
Oh,
it's like the devil or whatever he played.
Well, this is the
Satan. He played Satan.
This
guy looks like Obama's stuff. Look at this. Are you kidding? I mean, come on, stop that. I'm showing it right now. Come on, are you kidding?
Obama doesn't wear hoodies.
Exactly.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you can. Come on, I don't get it. I mean, you could cast anybody. Again, since this guy looks like Obama, they could have said, no, this guy looks like Obama. We don't want to make that connection. We want him to look like just an average person who's the evil, whatever.
Yes.
He shouldn't look like anybody. But they're smart people. Oh, we didn't know it looked like Obama.
You know what?
I produced 75,000 hours of television. How did we know? No, they know.
Well, anyway.
Stop that.
The Bible Epic Miniseries from Mark Burnett and Roma Downey. I got nothing left to say. Mark just did it all. It's on Blu-ray. Look, it's super on the nose and super cheesy. It is, it really plays up, the hyperactive melodramatic quality of all these stories and the whole linkage. I don't particularly like the casting. I don't like the execution. I don't like the directing. I think the writing is just really pedestrian. But that being said, they got it made, and even John Huston couldn't do the Bible. His movie of the Bible is basically just Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark. I mean, he didn't even get all the way through the whole thing. It was his, movie. The Bible is just it should have been called Noah's Ark and a few other stories. Anyway, there it is. It's out. It's on Blu-ray. It's not well shot enough for me to recommend it on Blu-ray. I think you could watch this thing on streaming or anything else and get just the same effect out of it. But it's got 10 episodes and 4 discs, and there are a few little extra-y things here. Not a whole lot. They do offer a chance for you to download your free YouVersion Bible app. I don't know what that means because I didn't do it. But anyway, it got ridiculous ratings for the History Channel, as did the Vikings, which, they did a little back-to-back thing with it. And History Channel suddenly is getting all kinds of, traction on these original programs. And that's amazing for a network that was nothing but, documentaries on World War II just like 8 years ago.
Well, don't forget, too, is that the one advantage that the Bible had is that it was produced by two people who can make the talk show rounds.
Yes.
Mark Burnett and Roma Downey, whatever name is. I mean, they're bookable on talk shows.
They are.
Whereas everybody else who's on the History Channel,
yeah, true.
You don't want to book them on a talk show.
That's a great point.
So it's easy to promote for History Channel.
You should you know something about talk shows, don't you?
No.
Yeah, you do.
I don't.
Okay.
I hate this show. No, here's the thing. I hate this show. I've never seen it.
Mark doesn't want to talk about his pile, so he's grabbing everything in my pile.
Now
fine.
I'm very happy. I'm very happy for Men at Work because I think wasn't Adam Bush on Stupid for Movies? This guy here with the glass, was he on Stupid for Movies?
Oh yes.
Does he look familiar?
We did have him as a guest in Stupid for Movies, didn't we?
Maybe it was him and his wife or something. I don't know.
Yeah, no, and another actress. They were
married or something.
They'd made a thing. They'd raised a little bit of money to make that independent movie. My goodness, have we gotten to that point where we can't even remember the people that we've met now? Now we're on the other side of that equation. Like when you meet stars, they're like, "Oh yeah, I did way too many junk
Amber
interviews."
Benson.
Yeah, that was
we had them on
we
Super
did.
Anyway, their show Men at Work is on TBS. I've never seen this show. All I've seen are the promos because they have Family Guy reruns on TBS. So I watch it. Yeah. This show looks dreadful. It looks like just the hackiest, most horrible, lowbrow, just honestly, really seriously, like Daddy's first sitcom humor kind of writing. It's just so bad.
It's not the worst I've ever seen, but
no,
it's
the worst.
okay. Well, anyway, outtakes and deleted scenes. Moving on. You are going to get to those, right? Okay.
Well, yeah.
All right. MADtv, the second season. MADtv is, the show's always been really kind of uneven to me. I got to be honest. It tries to be sort of a mid-level, second-tier Saturday Night Live, and sometimes it feels more like Fridays. And I'm not, Fridays was fun back in the day, but...
A friend of ours worked on that show, did wardrobe, remember?
Yeah, that's right.
Dave.
I remember that. I remember Dave. I remember I used to drive by and visit him at the place right over off of Melrose. It was near Melrose and Gower, one of those things where they used to. That's right, Dave did wardrobe on that. Man, that was a while back. Anyway, 22 episodes, season 2. Some nice guest hosts on this. LL Cool J and Queen Latifah, Rodney Dangerfield, Harry Connick, Ice-T, Christina Applegate. The only person who really ever kind of broke out of this show was Orlando Jones, who had a moment, and I don't know where he is now.
Well, Frank Caliendo has done a bunch of stand-up. He's become kind of
true.
a good
Frank
stand-up
Caliendo,
and he's
yeah.
funny. When he does.
Frank
his,
Caliendo's wonderful. John
impersonations.
Madden.
Yeah, Al Pacino. He's funny.
Yeah,
He's one of the classic old school, like they used to have in the 70s. Rich Little and all those guys.
True, but you know what? Orlando Jones is the only guy that ever actually kind of made movies. Became a movie guy
for a second,
for a moment, and then because he did those 7-Up commercials, and then he became a movie guy, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, he's the next Eddie Murphy," and now he's not in movies anymore. Like, when was the last time he was in? You saw him in a movie? It's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. Moving on.
We're moving on, Wade.
Your turn.
Oh, it's my turn. House of Pain, Volume 10.
Now I know what you were delaying for.
Exactly.
You and Tyler Perry, you guys are peas in a pod. You're tight.
I can't tell if I'd rather watch this again or if I'd rather watch Tyler Perry in his dramatic film debut.
Yes.
And what was that?
Alex Cross.
Alex Cross.
Yeah.
This show sucks.
I know. We've talked about all the other seasons.
There's over 200. You know what? So Volume 10 has episodes 193 to 212. That means there's been at least 212 episodes of this horrible show.
3 times as many episodes, almost, of this show now as Star Trek. It's depressing, right?
I think whatever. Don't talk about this.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Life and Legend of Wyatt Earp. Now, I haven't talked about my obsession with Wyatt Earp is it's kind of gone now.
Is it really?
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't.
The love is gone?
Well, not the love is gone, but just my interest in reading 400 pages about him is gone. The Legend of Wyatt Earp was a pretty good show. It was in the mid-50s, about 55 to 61, and it starred, what's his name, Hugh O'Brien as Wyatt Earp, the most famous.
Hugh O'Brien, good actor.
Yep, most famous sheriff in the Old West, mostly on the strength of the fact that he participated in the OK Corral, and he was the only sheriff. I mean, this is his claim to fame.
Yeah.
Wyatt Earp was the only sheriff, not the only sheriff, but part of his legend was the fact that in all of his years as a sheriff, he never got shot.
Amazing,
which is
right?
pretty amazing for that time.
Amazing.
So everybody in his in Wyatt's little inner circle are represented here: Bat Masterson and Ben Thompson, and whatnot and so forth. So there you go, Wyatt Earp. It's pretty good stuff. It's something that maybe you're not going to really necessarily want to watch, but your parents might. And there's a couple decent guest stars that you saw over the course of this series, although Season 2 doesn't really have anybody that notable for you guys. But anyway, so it's good stuff. Legend of Wyatt Earp, parents might like it, Season 2.
And, Mark, I should point out, I should have mentioned this at the top of the show, but we got carried away with Patton Oswalt. We've got 2 giveaways today. Actually, a giveaway and kind of a promotional thing. So not,
give emotion?
It's like a giveaway and a half. And we also have a Vox Box later. But the promotional thing is very interesting. I think you're going to take a keen interest in this. It'll foster a fascinating discussion.
Okay. Says you.
Red Skelton, the farewell specials. I cannot recommend this highly enough. Just the other day, this is from Mill Creek. It includes the 4 final television specials from Red Skelton. Red Skelton's Christmas Dinner, More Funny Faces 3, and a Royal Command performance, which is his performance at the Royal Albert Hall, or the Royal Albert Hall, not the Sir Albert Hall, Royal Albert Hall. Where Man Who Knew Too Much, where the shooting takes place in the Hitchcock film.
Where I saw Elvis Costello and Nick Lowe. Rock
on. I've never been there, but I've run around it many times. I've jogged the circumference, the perimeter.
Don't show off.
Anyway, it's a lovely, lovely part of London to run through. It's great. Anyway, I was just saying to somebody the other day, I was like, we were so spoiled in the 60s, and I say we, speaking in sort of the royal we, because I was born in the 60s, so I don't have a thorough memory of the entire decade. But if you think about it, like at a certain point in the 60s, you had television and only 3 networks. Only 3 networks. It's no cable, no satellite, no syndication. You just had 3 networks to choose from, and your primetime offerings gave you a chance on any given night to watch Red Skelton, Jack Benny, Burns and Allen, Milton Berle, Jackie Gleason.
My Mother the Car.
You realize that, it was an incredible moment in comedy. It was an incredible moment. You could have watched so many legends, just historic figures. That was an amazing era. People were so spoiled and they had no idea. They just thought, we need more channels. Now we have more channels and it's all crap.
We have lots of legends on TV now. We have House of Pain, comedy legend.
Yeah. Anyway, the farewell specials from Red Skelton. Red Skelton was a television legend for a long time, and these were his farewell performances, and he's just great as ever. Vincent Price and Imogen Coca show up on the Christmas dinner, and then More Funny Faces features Marcel Marceau. It's wonderful. I can't recommend these highly enough. Anything Red Skelton is just a great flashback to a legendary period of yesteryear. And then, real quickly, we also have the Return of the Beverly Hillbillies, which is wretched. I didn't even know that this existed. This is very strange. This is a 1981 cast reunion, and it did not need to happen. It really didn't. I don't know why anybody did this, but it's there. So if you're a just diehard fan of the Return of the Beverly Hillbillies, that really misguided, malformed thing from the early 80s is there. And then also Maverick, the complete second season. I love this show. I watched this. I used to watch this in reruns back to back with the Wild Wild West, and so much fun. James Garner in his pre-detective days when he's playing a Western gambler. Man, he's just so good. And this show was, there's so much fun on this show. One of the few Westerns from that period that didn't sort of do the Western thing, like Gunsmoke and, The Rifleman and Have Gun Will Travel and The Big Valley. They're all kind of a little bit the same.
Bonanza.
But Bonanza, they're all a little bit the same. But Maverick was the one that really kind of did a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It was a little more fun, and it holds up so well. The writing's great, the directing's great. Terrific guest stars. Clint Eastwood, by the way, shows up in this season. And I think it's great. Absolutely great. Roger Moore shows up in this season.
He was James Bond.
A lot of fun.
Femme Fatale is an attempt to bring back the old pulp novel-y, Elmore Leonard-y, film noir-y thing to an anthology series. And does it work? It works if you like television that is okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. It's really not that great.
It's something we're mentioning because we kind of have an obligation to let you know that it's there.
Yes, that is true. Honestly,
this is duty.
In the world of film noir classics, are we going to have you watch Femme Fatales from Cinemax? We are not.
No,
we're not going to recommend that at all.
Nope.
Letting you know it's there.
There you go. And then just to wrap up the television thing.
Thank goodness. My God.
Yeah, so we're going to get into movies in a second here because there are a lot of fascinating movies this week. Real quickly, wrapping up the television thing. This is Mark's going to shoot me, but a little bit more on British television, but for a good reason. PBS has a documentary, The Secrets of Highclere Castle. Step inside one of Britain's best-known manor houses. If that doesn't mean anything to you, Highclere Castle is where they actually shoot Downton Abbey. But it has a history all of its own, which is very interesting. And this is a lovely hour-long kind of semi-sideways promo for Downton Abbey that just feels like more than a featurette. So they made a complete documentary out of it, complete hour-long thing. And it's nice. I had no idea. It's very nice. Beautiful place. The people who live there, they are quite fortunate. They rent that house out to that damn production for a lot of money.
But they already have a lot of money because they own that house.
Yeah, well, don't bet on it. Last of the summer wine, the famous Roy Clark show that just will not stop. This is the 1998 season, vintage 1998, and it's same shtick. We've talked about this before. It's just uniquely rural British comedy, but it just keeps on trucking. And then really an amazing bit of television, frankly, is Parade's End. The this is just something I'm. It's always kind of. I was a little bit familiar with the existence of this thing, but I never really kind of researched it. So this is the first time that I kind of became fully aware of the fact that in 1964 they did an adaptation of the novel. Like, you're familiar with the novel, right? Parade's End?
Of course not.
No. All right. Well, it's all about, kind of.
I watch Star Trek and read comic books.
It's a World War I thing, right? It's a World War I era melodrama set in Edwardian England, and it's based on a book. And they did an adaptation in 1964 of the novel, and it stars a young and fetching and incredibly beguiling Judi Dench, and she's just magnificent. So I would say go grab this for no other reason than the fact that Judi Dench is young and unbelievable. She's just as amazing young as she is when she gets older. And that damn show Merlin, The Adventures of Merlin, the complete 5th season, this thing will not stop trucking along. This is out from BBC as well. You know what? I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about this show. Sometimes I feel like it's pretty cool, and sometimes I'm like, you know what? You're really, really betraying the whole Arthurian legend, and you're stretching this thing way too far, and you're taking it in directions that just feel very cheesy. But it's nicely done. And then lastly, PBS has released the Blu-ray series, Mr. Suffrage, spelled Selfridge, like self and fridge together.
Oh, yeah, because
But it's pronounced suffrage, as in like women's suffrage.
Oh, look how brilliant that is. Is that because he repairs refrigerators?
No. This is still on television right now. They're airing the American the American run of this series is like 2 or 3 weeks in right now. So you get, if you want to go grab the Blu-ray or the DVD, preferably the Blu-ray because it's a really well shot show, you can watch the whole thing and not have to wait for the final episodes to air on PBS, which is a great thing. They did that with
Star Wars?
Downton Abbey as well. Now, what's amazing, you've shopped at Suffrages, haven't you?
Selfridges?
Yeah.
Yes.
In London.
Yes.
That's what this is about.
Oh. Well, that's the guy who...
That's the guy. Jeremy Piven plays Mr. Suffrage. And I know you're thinking, like, Jeremy Piven, Suffrage? He doesn't have a British accent. He can't do accents. Do you know why?
Because Selfridge was probably a pompous ass, and Jeremy Piven's a pompous ass.
No. Well, yes, but Suffrage was an American. I had no idea. It's the story of the guy who brought, basically, the department store concept to the British. He was an American. He was an American entrepreneur, and he Mr. Suffrage. He came to England. He's like, you people need to have a department store. Let me show you what this is all about. You are going to love Sears, and except he called it Suffrages, because he's egotistical ass. But terrific series, really a terrific series. A lot of fun, amazing story. I had no idea, didn't know any of it, and. You know what? Thanks to this, we now have all those. We have a million other great the best department stores in the world are all in London, and they're all about 10 minutes distance from each other. They're great.
Harrods, Selfridges.
Love going to Harrods.
What else?
Harvey Nicks.
Harvey Nicks.
Oh
my God.
Oh, love Harvey Nicks. I mean, you could just. I got to go back to London. It's killing me.
I've been there for years.
Killing me. All right, we're gonna. We're gonna have the first of our giveaway things right now. No, not yet. Not yet.
Aww.
We're gonna do a thing right now. Hold on, Mark. We're gonna do a thing right now. This is kind of a promotional deal, and I have to be very, very specific in what I'm describing this because otherwise it'll make no sense to anybody. We have been given a chance to give 10 of our listeners an opportunity to try out Viewster free. Have you heard of Viewster, Mark?
Nope.
Viewster, Viewster is a global video-on-demand service that functions like other competitors like Hulu and Netflix. Did you know this?
I'm liking it already.
It was founded in 2007 by Kai Henniges and Jorg Boxberg. I don't know that I'm even pronouncing their names correctly. Anyway, they've got 5,000 films, a million different genres, and from all 100 different countries, 10 different languages. And they had 2.7 million users in February, which is nothing compared to Netflix or Hulu or any of the others. But
got to start somewhere.
Got to start somewhere. And you can. They've got an app on Roku and Boxy and iOS, Android. You can watch it on your box at home. You can watch it on your phone. You can watch it on your iPad or your tablet. Most of the movies are free, and then there's additional fee for the ad-free experience. Anyway, we've got a little offer for 10 of our listeners. So email us at godsdigigods.com and put in the subject Viewster, Viewster, Viewster. Just put that in there. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to send you a promotional code, and you're going to get access to one ad-free movie from their library. One ad-free movie, and you can watch it on any of the devices that support the Viewster, the whole Viewster platform. You can watch it on an iPad or on a phone or on your television, and that code will work all the way through May 31st. So we're basically giving people a chance to try to see any movie free
that they have on Viewster.
That they have on Viewster.
They have like
ad-free.
5,000 movies, including Warner Brothers films and a lot of great independent films around the country.
So,
around the country.
around
the world?
Yeah, and get back to us. Tell us what you think about it. So first, just send us an email, put Viewster in the subject, and we will randomly choose 10 very, very fortunate listeners. Now, mind you, you cannot apply to this and our giveaway later. You have to pick one. Got to pick one.
Don't be using different email addresses.
No.
We're onto that. We're onto that crap.
You got to be either a Viewster person or the giveaway later. So you can't do both. But
wait, so we have 2 giveaways in the same show?
Yep. That's it.
Wow.
Well, it's not really a giveaway. It's a promotional thing. So
exciting.
I'm curious. Tell us what you think of Viewster after we pick the winners. We'll let you know by email. We'll go, hey, you're a winner. Here's your code, and here's the way you go about this. And then we're curious. So tell us what you think.
It's Viewster.
All right. So real quickly, we're into movies now. 3 from the Warner Archive collection. Kind of a mixed bag. It's interesting. I'm not hugely fond of any of these, but they're worth mentioning. One is Ralph Bakshi's Hey Good Lookin', which is, Ralph Bakshi's done a lot of kind of crappy animation in addition to a lot of legendary animation. This one is kind of like animated Happy Days with an edge, and it's like it's the 50s with done Bakshi style basically, and it's pretty tough. I just don't know that it's that good. It's sort of you watch the animation and you go, that's kind of aggressive and cool animation, but I'm not really enjoying the movie. It was a real kind of a misfire at the time, but it's a curiosity now, and it's for Bakshi fans only, I would say. And then Elliot Gould, Paul Sorvino, and Diane Keaton.
Awesome. What a 70s cast that is.
Isn't it? In I Will, for now. Which is a great title, isn't it? It's memorable. You'll totally remember that title until the end of time. Quickly, what was the title, Mark?
It should be called I Do, for now. Are they getting married? Is that the idea?
Well, check this out. Here, first of all, you know who directed this?
Oh,
if you think this is a 70s thing. Directed by Norman Panama.
Norman Panama?
Yes.
Did he invent the canal?
Exactly. Norman Panama, just one of those real kind of workman-like mid-level comedy directors from the 60s and into the 70s. He co-wrote it as well. John Alonzo shot this thing.
And he shot Chinatown.
It doesn't look very good either. And then you also have Robert Alda, Victoria Principal, and Candy Clark show up in this. But Paul Sorvino, Elliot Gould, Diane Keaton. Boy, there's a roaring comedy trio. I don't know. It's it's a 70s romantic comedy, but it just feels like somebody had the leftover script for like a Rock Hudson Doris Day movie that didn't quite work, so they decided we're just going to cast less attractive people. It's kind of what it feels like. Anyway, and then the last one is First Family, which I think is a really unfortunately overlooked film. I think this is a very, very funny movie. A lot of people think it was a bomb. It tanked at the time. I think it deserves to be revisited because I think in our current political environment, this is a real gem. And it was written and directed by Buck Henry, who's a genius.
Yeah, Buck Henry's a genius.
Love Buck Henry. He's a genius. And it stars Bob Newhart as the president. And that alone should make you want to see it because it's Bob Newhart playing the president. Buck Henry wrote and directed a movie with Bob Newhart as the president.
That's right.
Why do you need anything else?
That is true.
Check out the rest of the cast. Harvey Korman. Come on. Gilda Radner. Madeline Kahn. Rip Torn. Fred Willard. Why did this movie fail?
Because it's not as funny as the...
If all those people were in a movie today, assuming that, Madeline Kahn were still alive, Richard Benjamin... for crying out loud. Certainly Gilda Radner were still alive. If all these people were still alive and we were able to put them in a movie today, this would be a hit.
I feel the same way about this film that I feel about Mad, Mad World, which is that considering all the talent that has been accumulated for this film, it's not as funny as you would think.
So anyway, 3 movies.
Which, by the way, is also the same thing people feel about Catch-22. Although I love Catch-22.
True.
People feel that the amazing cast, the amazing source material and whatnot, it wasn't as funny as it should have been. Although I disagree. I love Catch-22.
Sure.
Wade, there's a movie, Wade.
Yes.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's called The Impossible, up for a couple of Oscar nominations. I had a different reaction to this film. This is the Naomi Watts, Ewan Gregor film about the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami. And the movie is directed by J.A. Bayona.
Mm-hmm.
And when you watch this film, watch it on as big a TV as you can, because the way they convey the actual tsunami, which takes place about maybe 10, 15 minutes into the movie and takes about 15, 20 minutes, is unbelievably powerful.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's great. It's the highlight of the movie.
The problem I had with the film is that I felt like after the tsunami and this one family, the film revolves around one family, and they're separated in the tsunami.
And the real family in real life, it's a Spanish family.
That's right.
Not a British family.
No, Spanish. Well, in real life, it's a Spanish family, but in here, it's played by an Australian and an English person,
or a Scotsman.
Or a Scotsman, true.
Yeah.
My issue with it is that once they got separated, I kind of felt like the tsunami was so amazing, it took the air out of the movie, and then I feel like it's a foregone conclusion that they're going to get back together again. So, why am I here?
It's an exercise. That was my problem with it. An incredibly well-made film. I mean, it is beautifully, beautifully crafted. Performances are great. Ewan McGregor is outstanding. I mean, he has some of the best scenes he's ever done as an actor here. Naomi Watts got an Oscar nomination for this.
Which is bizarre, because she spends 2/3 of the film on a bed.
I know.
I don't know what it is. I mean,
it's all that fine. It's that tromping around in the swamp water and getting all mucky-muck. That got it for her.
I mean, I guess it's a great physical performance.
Look, when beautiful actresses put mud on and bleed, somehow they get Oscar nominations.
She spends 2/3 of the film on a bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So look, here's the thing. It is an incredibly well-crafted film. I did not like watching it. I thoroughly enjoyed watching it. I agree. The only thing is, it does feel like an exercise, because the family's going to get back together again. We're not giving anything away. It's not a movie about a tsunami that tears a family apart and then they all die. Nobody would make that movie. That movie would never get released. You would not say, let's spend $85-90 million on a movie that will depress people to the point of suicide. Exactly. I think we should do it. We should do it. No, it's not going to happen.
So that's my only issue with the film. Although it's very powerful filmmaking, and the sound. I don't understand how the sound branch of the Academy did not recognize this film.
I know.
That just makes
it's weird.
No sense to me.
I agree.
And I watched this movie on my computer because the screener they gave me didn't work.
Well, that Blu-ray is gorgeous. And you know what else is gorgeous are the DVDs.
Well, I didn't realize we were giving this away. I wouldn't have said bad things about it. But I will say that, what I say about it still holds. It's amazingly well crafted. The performances are great. So on that basis, you should enter our contest.
Yes. They gave us 5 of these to give away. So I've got 5 copies of The Impossible to give away on DVD. Not Blu-ray, but DVD. This is a DVD and ultraviolet digital copy combo. And we got 5 copies to give away. So if you want The Impossible, go ahead and email us at gods@digigods.com. Put The Impossible or just Impossible is fine. Impossible in the subject. Don't have to put the in front of it. Just Impossible is fine. And we will select 5 lucky listeners to receive a copy of The Impossible on DVD from Summit Entertainment. And for both of these giveaways, the giveaway and the promotion, if you could do your best to make sure that your emails to us at gods@digigods.com are date stamped no later than the 28th. Please, the 28th. We're going to give you a little bit longer than usual to work that together. So the 28th is when we want you to make sure you get your date stamped emails to us. For The Impossible, put Impossible in the subject header. And please, in both, include your address. Well, for The Impossible, include your address, because we're going to have to mail these out and want to get them out quickly. And you don't have to include your address for the promotion. We'll email you right back if you are a winner. So there you go. Mark, why don't we... Yeah, let's see. I'm going to talk about A Monster in Paris.
Whoa, okay. Don't threaten me.
Because it's really cool animation, and this never got any kind of a theatrical release, which is really unfortunate. This is a EuropaCorp animated film, and EuropaCorp, of course, is Luc Besson's empire, his French empire through which he makes all of things like the Transporter films and pretty much anything that has Jet Li in it these days, where Jet Li is in France. And, of course, he makes things like Taken. And it's become a real powerhouse enterprise in France and in Europe. And he's really been trying to build it into sort of a European studio, a French-based studio with the same kind of global reach as an American studio. Anyway, A Monster in Paris is to my knowledge, it's their first big animated film. And it's really, really nicely done. It takes place in 1910 and centers on this crazy inventor and this phenomenal adventure that just transpires. It's I won't get into any of the details. It's impossible to talk about it without sort of giving it all away. Some interesting voice casting, not great. Adam Goldberg, Sean Lennon, Bob Balaban, Vanessa Paradis, Johnny Depp's ex. Danny Houston even shows up to annoy Mark and me. The 3D, they sent it to us in a Blu-ray 3D version. Again, I don't see any reason to ruin this with 3D. It works perfectly well as a Blu-ray movie, just regular, straight-up, nice, high-definition Blu-ray movie. A nice little period. I don't want to say it's in the same vein as Ratatouille. It tries to be. It's certainly aspiring to that, but I think it's a nice adventure, a nice thing for the kids. It's something that wasn't released theatrically here, should have been. And if you want to pick up on an animated film that's way better, I think, than stuff like Brave, frankly, check this out.
Well, you should also check out a culty little item that says, you know what, I'm going to be a culty little item, and I'm going to make myself into a cult item and hope that people respond to me as a cult item. And usually when people try to be a cult item, it doesn't work because they're trying too hard to be a cult item. And it just becomes annoying.
Okay.
Because it's trying to force its cult item-iness on you.
Yes.
However, John Dies at the End is kind of fun. Directed by Don Coscarelli, who has done a lot of films kind of like this. It's kind of fun. It's about a drug called soy sauce that when you take it, you have these sort of out-of-body experiences and hallucinations and whatnot. And it turns out that the drug might be some sort of alien invasion. Maybe, possibly, don't know. You'll have to find out by renting the movie because it's kind of cute. Anyway, a pair of college losers try to, hold down their jobs and save the world and whatnot.
Andy Klein loves this movie.
I think it's kind of fun. I do. You know what? This movie is fun in a way that what's the video game film with Michael Cera? Saves the World.
Oh yeah, John.
Star Wars.
Yeah, that
movie. Wait, don't stop the recording. Wait, what is it? Saves the World. Billy Pilgrim saves the world. Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim saves the world. Versus the world.
Bill and Ted and John save the world at the end. Bill and Ted and John save the world at the end.
Exactly.
And
but
go
Scott
super
Pilgrim
bad.
is a film where it's going to be so culty and it's going to be so cool and rad and all stuff and junk that it's like, well, kids love it. It turns out it's just stop. It's just you're being lame.
Snort.
But John Dies at the End. It's cute. I liked it. Check it out. It looks okay on Blu-ray. Not a high-budget film, but it does have Paul Giamatti and Clancy Brown. They're always cool. And, it's a kind of a blast, I have to say.
Good.
I have to say. I'm very
Bravo.
surprised.
Wonderful.
That is true.
Got a couple of criterions here, a couple of classic criterions, and this is wonderful, wonderful stuff. Laurence Olivier's Richard III.
Oh, Richard III.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, people are like, oh, but I missed Richard I and II.
What?
Richard III was one of Laurence Olivier's best Shakespearean adaptations. A lot of people still, nobody really wanted to ever give him the full credit that these films deserved after Hamlet, because Hamlet's still the only Shakespearean film ever to win Best Picture. And this is from 1955, 2.5 hours, brilliant color, extraordinary cast that includes, John Gielgud and Claire Bloom. It's through the roof how good this movie is. And it is, I think, way superior, frankly, to that misbegotten kind of fascist-themed Richard III that they did, about 12 years ago?
I don't know.
With Magneto playing Richard III.
Oh, Ian McKellen?
Yeah. Remember that thing?
No.
It had. Seriously, you didn't see that?
No.
It's where he the line my horse, my kingdom for a horse, because his Jeep is stuck in the mud. Not good. Not good. Everyone was waiting to see how they're going to handle that, and I remember sitting there just rolling my eyes, thinking, "Oh, dude, seriously, you so had me until this moment. The whole fascist motif just does not work." But
goddamn fascist motif.
Yeah,
I hate when fascist motifs don't work. It really just gets in my craw.
Pretty great. So anyway, this is Richard III. It was filmed in VistaVision originally, and beautiful, pristine VistaVision. So you definitely want to get this on Blu-ray. It preserves the VistaVision aspect ratio, the 1:6 aspect ratio, and gives the Blu-ray just the high def just suits it so beautifully. And then the other criterion is a fascinating thing. I would have thought that they would have released this as one of their whatchamacallits, the Eclipse line, which we also have one I'm going to try to get to today. But they didn't release this as an Eclipse line because Pierre Ete is apparently too important of a filmmaker to dedicate an Eclipse title to. So they gave him a complete Criterion volume, number 655. Can you believe we're up to 655 with Criterion? I wonder what the number...
I want all of them.
Anyway, this is a Blu-ray edition that includes the following films by Pierre Ete. I know you're thinking, who the hell's Pierre Ete? We'll get into that in just a moment. Rupture from 1961, Happy Anniversary from 1962, The Suitor from 63, Yo-Yo 65.
Yo.
As Long as You've Got Health in 1966, same year that he did Feeling Good. 3 years later, he did Le Grand Amour, and in 1971, Land of Milk and Honey. And here's when I discovered Pierre Ete. I was at a screening of, I can't remember, something last year, and I was sitting... Who was in front of me?
In a chair?
No, I was sitting in front of somebody. Somebody was talking. It was at the Landmark, and Manola was there. And Manola had just gotten back from some Pierre Ete festival or something, a resurrection of all these films that she saw projected. And she's like, "This guy's amazing. He's phenomenal. He's like the greatest physical comedian, physical comedy filmmaker you've ever seen. He's just incredible, better than Jacques Tati." And I was like, "I don't know who Pierre Ete is." She's right. Unbelievable. Really just a complete lost comedy legend. And there are all new video introductions here for all these films. They have been restored, remastered. They are fabulous, and you are just going to die how funny they are. This is brilliant stuff. Really, really wonderful. Pierre Ete had previously been a circus acrobat and a clown, and he brought all of that to bear in these movies, and they are wonderful. And the best part is, these movies are mostly written by Jean-Claude Carrière, so they're good screenplays too. Carrière, of course, who worked with Buñuel and who wrote like The Unbearable Lightness of Being and many other great films for a lot of great Hollywood filmmakers as well. So, and of course, Jean-Claude Carrière also did Valmont, screenplay for Valmont, the Milos Forman film that I think is better than Dangerous Liaisons. So, anyway, really, really good. Got to check this out. And there are also 3 short films on here, including Happy Anniversary, which won an Academy Award. Wonderful.
Wade, breaking out the knowledge.
Right on, man.
Wade, next is Gangster Squid. The story of a fish who joins the mafia. No?
That's that would be the porn version of this.
Gangster Squid.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, this is Ruben Fleischer's highly anticipated follow-up to Zombieland, which I liked. In fact, I like Zombieland a lot more than I like this. The thing is that Ruben Fleischer is probably kind of really not the right person for this material, only because it is so artificial. The characters are one-dimensional. The environment is pretty but totally artificial. There's not a human being in it. I just feel like this movie was almost... It had moments, but it's almost those sorts of moments that Ruben Fleischer wants to show off his visual flash and a whole bunch of
cast,
bullets
though.
and
What a
freaking
great
out.
great
it's
cast.
Fine. I mean, Josh Brolin... Josh Brolin, Ryan Gosling, Nick Nolte, Emma Stone, and Sean Penn. Josh Brolin plays the leader of this Untouchables-like police squad that's going to bring down Sean Penn, who plays Mickey Cohen, the famous gangster.
Yep.
And I just feel like this movie was missing a human heartbeat. I just felt it was just totally devoid of any feeling.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom.
That's great.
Boom, boom.
Commentary with Ruben Fleischer, a bunch of special features that are okay, some deleted scenes. And look, it looks great. It sounds great, but it just feels like a big cartoon to me. I just did not really respond at all to Gangster Squid.
Too bad. Standoff is a movie we talked about a few weeks ago. We just kind of made fun of the artwork on the cover because it had Brendan Fraser holding a gun and blah, 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 blah. And there were like 3 other movies or 2 other movies that week of guys holding guns. And we were just talking about the marketing, the lack of marketing originality. But we recently got the movie again on Blu-ray and DVD combo, so we gave it a good shot. And I'll tell you, it's not a bad movie. Here's the thing about Standoff, and there's kind of a cautionary Hollywood tale to be told here. Standoff is basically just the story of a heist that goes terribly, terribly wrong. Brendan Fraser, really trying to be not the comedy goofball that he was of late. Here's the thing. This movie was directed by Terry George. And Terry George is a hell of a great filmmaker. Irish filmmaker, you know him. He
Hotel Rwanda.
Hotel Rwanda, wrote and directed it. He also co-wrote a lot of
Star Wars?
No, exactly. Some Mother's Son.
Yes.
He wrote that, right?
Good stuff.
Co-wrote In the Name of the Father, right? So he's, a heavy-hitting guy. I interviewed Terry George some years ago when I did a piece for the DGA Quarterly magazine on Costa Gavras.
Blah, 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 DGA Quarterly magazine, Costa Gavras.
Thank you. And, because the goal was to talk to a lot of filmmakers. I talked to Oliver Stone, unfortunately, as well. But people who sort of were carrying on the Costa Gavras torch, right, of, conscience filmmaking, political filmmaking, heavy-hitting stuff. And Terry George had all kinds of wonderful things to say. And at the time, he was trying to raise money to make a movie about the UN worker who was slain in Iraq. You
Sure,
remember that, right?
The guy, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big, he's like a big UN guy, right? I can't remember his name, but he was trying to tell that story. He was trying to raise money. I'm sure he still is. Thing is, here he's made another movie in the meantime, which goes on to tell you people are more interested in giving Terry George money to make heist gone wrong movies than something that is legitimately, high profile, that has, real historical value, that would be a draw for a major act. Like nobody wants to give him money to make a really good movie. They just want to give him money to make a movie. It's like, it might make a buck or two.
Yeah, that's true. This movie Standoff, as bad as it is, it'll sell internationally, and you show a bunch of guns on the cover, and people will take a flyer on it at Redbox, and that's how it works.
Yeah.
Welcome to America.
And the third movie that we have that features somebody holding a gun this week is The Sweeney, which is basically a big screen adaptation of a British television show, as I understand it. And Ray Winstone, always good when he plays a heavy, always good when he plays a bloke. Nice action here. Nothing that really crazy stands out to me, but, I just kind of hung my hat on Damian Lewis, who I always like, and Ray Winstone playing a heavy and saying, hey,
He was great in Sexy Beast.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, it's that character again, except this time he gets to be a little more, a little more action engaged.
All right, that's great. Anyway, Haunted House is a terrible, terrible, unwatchable comedy starring Marlon Wayans and a bunch of people that, who cares? It's one of those Scary Movie 5 type films. It takes the found footage genre and turns it on its head. Woo-hoo, hysterical. Worst film ever made. Totally, totally, totally horrible. The Australian romantic comedy Not Suitable for Children is kind of interesting, I guess. It's got a pretty crude premise, and there are better Australian films out there. Mm-hmm. This guy I've never heard of, Ryan Quanton, who I guess is on True Blood. He plays this kind of nobody who thinks he might have cancer, and so he really, really wants to have a kid. So, I guess there's something there in terms of premise, but it just becomes kind of crude and not that funny, and just kind of wasn't that into. I was kind of hoping for like a cute little indie comedy with a little bit of truth involved. But it turns out they'd rather go for a bunch of parties and rousing and mistaken identities and all that sort of stuff.
Sure.
So that was kind of disappointing. Not suitable for children.
And then our last
Are we
two.
done?
We're almost done. We got 2 and then a Vox Box to wrap things up. No. Last 2, Jurassic Park 3D, Blu-ray 3D, Blu-ray, DVD, digital copy, ultraviolet combo. It is a big, monstrous pile of wasted money. There's no reason for Jurassic Park to be a 3D Blu-ray other than to generate interest in the next Jurassic Park movie, which will be shot in 3D, or so they say. It might be post-converted. Who cares? This franchise is dead. They should just honor it and leave it alone and not try to do any more goofball crazy stuff with this. Jurassic Park in 3D, totally pointless, does not benefit the movie. Don't sully your memories. And then lastly, before our Vox Box, is Promised Land, which is an unbearably preachy movie with Matt Damon and John Krasinski. This is like taking the Soderbergh, Julia Roberts, what was the
Steve Mallett, Star Wars, Shecky, I'm pulling out all of my stops here. Don't stop the recording. When I mess up, I tell you don't stop the recording.
That's right.
When you mess up, you don't stop the recording either. Show people you're real.
What's her name?
I don't know. Who are you talking about?
The Soderbergh Julia Roberts movie. There was the same year's traffic. Aaron Brockovich. Thank you.
See, I knew that immediately, but I kind of wasn't paying attention to you. So
I'm multitasking like a crazy man here.
Exactly.
Anyway, this is like Aaron Brockovich, just taken to an unbelievably preachy degree. I just really wish that they just stop already with movies that just wear their politics on their sleeve just to an unbelievably annoying level. This is all that Participant does, these kinds of films. They need to really stop trying to save the world, because this movie just does not ring true on any conceivable level. I know these guys care deeply for this, but, Gus Van Sant is a better director than this material, and it just feels like it wants to, like it's giving you a spoonful of medicine about, drilling and fracking and all that kind of stuff, and it just gets so tiresome at a certain point. You just go, I don't even know what this movie's about. I know that Matt Damon is supposed to do something bad, and Krasinski convinces him to have a change of heart, and now he becomes an environmental activist, and, the world is saved.
That's great, Vox Box.
Done. Anyway. It just, I tuned out. All right, do it.
Hey, Wade and Mark, it's Lance Taylor. Wade, congratulations on your new baby girl. And get ready to watch and fall in love with Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. You kind of crapped on it a few months ago. And my boy is about to be 20 months old. And it's all he wants to watch. So don't be surprised if you start singing the theme song and the hot dog song and all that good stuff. And by the way, Wade, I have to say, I didn't even know you were pregnant. So good way to conceal it. Cool. All right. All the best. Bye.
Oh, Lance, you card. Funny. But thank you for the well wishes. I know, it's funny. You wear loose-fitting clothing, and it's amazing what you can hide when you're expecting. I don't know if I'm going to ever watch Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse. That just sounds like too much pain. I may have to just disconnect all feeds coming into the house and force my daughter to only watch Warner Brothers cartoons. So anyway, thank you everyone for listening. We're gonna head out. Mark just bolted out the door. I don't know what the deal is. But we've just remember to send us to gods@digigods.com. Send us an email with Impossible in the subject if you want to be in the running for the Impossible giveaway. Only 5 people are going to win that one. And then send us a separate email. You can't apply to each. You can only apply to one giveaway at a time. So send us a separate one that says Viewster, Viewster, in the subject if you want to be one of the 10 people who wins a promotional code to watch one commercial-free film on Viewster.com all the way through May 31st. This promotion goes, and we're curious. We want to know what you think of Viewster. It's one of the new streaming services out there. They have a big library, a lot of great films. So we're going to give you a chance to try them out and give them a road test and get back to us. With that, we'll see you next week.